So here we are, folks. I'm at the side of the road in Glen Shea and I'm about to climb An Socach. But today a bit of difference. I'm not about to spend a lot of time describing the route up here. I'm going to spend more time showing you guys how I set up a QRP station on the summit. So a new radio today and a new way of working, so I will be learning along with you, so you'll have to watch and see how we go on. As far as the route goes, all you need to know is I'm starting here at the side of the A93. Details are in the description along with the route from Walk Highlands, and I'll see you somewhere towards the top. Right, I've reached a ford now and that's the bike getting dumped here, and I'm going to start walking up there. Okay, a couple of kilometres on the bike, a couple of K walking, made it, yeah? Not quite. And I'm on the plateau, but it's quite a long plateau, so I've still got 2 kilometres of easy gradients in that direction to reach the summit cairn. Still on the plateau, all the way to there. Right, there we go, folks. That's An Socach. It's a Monroe. It's taken me about an hour and 40, an hour and 45 to climb. Thankfully, shortened it a little bit using the bike. You can see it's a bit of a rocky summit, but it's also quite flat. So I'm going to exercise my 25 metre activation zone allowance to the max. I spotted there's a grassy rake back down there on the south side, which is perfect for me because most of my customers are to the south or to the east, and I'm going to go and set up over there. Right, first of all, what's in the bag? I probably should have had this on the way up. We have the battery, which is a Zippy Compact 4200 milliamp hour LiFePO. Wonderful thing. We have a very old camera bag from about 20 years ago. It used to carry a compact camera, and now it carries this bad boy. Yesterday is the first outing for the new KX2, which I'm absolutely excited about. I've done a bit of a tutorial at home with it, but I have not had it on the air yet. It weighs about 400 grams, so does the battery. Yeah, that weighs about the same, including the feeder and the winder, and that is a inverted V or a dipole for cut for 40 metres and for 20 metres, and it also includes the feeder as well. So that is pretty much the radio station. I've gone up in weight here because I use a fishing pole normally, which weighs about 700 grams for 7 metres. This is a proper spider beam pole, which actually weighs 1 kilo for 700 metres. However, it's a bit shorter and easier to carry in the rucksack, especially when you're cycling. You don't feel like you're jousting. So that's a trade-off. It's also a lot stronger. You can support it sometimes just with a pile of rocks rather than guying. Talking of guying, I've got a bag of guys here and just a little bag of pencils and bits and pieces in it. And that is pretty much it. Okay, I've got my antenna roughly where I want it, laid out on the ground. That's the centre there. I'm going to pull the guy ropes in 1 metre at each end and guy it, and then we'll get the mast out, and we'll get the 3 guy lines on as well. Right, I've got my guy ring here, the 3 guy ropes. God knows why I made them green. They're invisible on everything apart from snow. So I thread these over, pull them down, get them out the way, and now I can simply thread on centre of the dipole. Normally just chuck a bit of string around it, a couple of sections down. It just stops it flapping about if it's too windy. Right, I'm going to lift this, watching I'm not getting anything caught on rocks. Now the 2 sides of the dipole will support the mast. As long as I'm holding on to one of the guys, which today looks like it's going to be this lucky chap. And I'll guy him loosely, then I'll go and fix the other 2 guys. Right, that's 1. That's 2. That's number 3, and you can see number 1 is just really buried in some rocks. And my dipole, it's not got too much tension on it, but it's worth going along to one end of it and actually just checking that everything's in line, which it isn't. So we'll pull this one back a bit to here. Now I always try and make sure my dipole is facing west to east, because most of the propagation I need is to the south. I don't really get any stations to the north of me, so it's now perfectly lined up. Of course, being an inverted V and quite low to the ground, the radiation pattern isn't the same as a dipole, which would be suspended at a half wave. There's a fair bit goes near vertical, incident skywave, and there's a fair bit comes off the ends as well. So I've got quite a bit of success in working stations over to the east into Scandinavia. Right, so that's it. I'm just going to tie another bit of string around there in the middle to tidy up the coax, and then there's enough left to run over to my operating position over here. Now you'll always see me connect the aerial to the radio first, and then finally the battery, because I wouldn't want to put a battery on, find out the radio is already in transmit mode with no antenna connected. So it's just good practice. And the final piece of the jigsaw is a little hand mic that came with this KX2. I think there are lighter ones available, but this one is robust. Now I'm a bit of a novice with this thing, so I managed to find this KX2 Cheat Sheet, which has got some of the settings on it. May or may not have to use that. Now, to make my life a bit easier with this radio, what I've done is I've pre-programmed in all of the QRP frequencies for the different bands. I won't necessarily call on the QRP frequencies, but quite often I'll tune near to them. Okay, the last piece of the jigsaw is getting a spot away and letting folk know that you're there. So I've got a frequency, I've got a signal, and I've got my book. CQ, CQ, CQ SOTA, CQ SOTA, CQ SOTA, Mike 0 Echo Foxtrot India Portable, calling CQ SOTA from Golf Mike Charlie Sierra 038 QRZ. Foxtrot 4, Whiskey Bravo November, you're 59 onto Golf Mike Charlie Sierra 038 QSL. QSL on 57, today I'm QRP, over. Thank you, bye bye, this is Mike 0 Echo Foxtrot India Portable, QRZ. Okay, I'm having a terrible time on 40, so I'm going to go to 20 and see if we get on up there. So that's just a case of me taking the guy pegs out the ends of the dipole, bringing it back towards the centre, and I can actually reach up and just unhook the links. Alright, it's pretty quiet up here, so I don't know if that means the band's closed, but I'm going to spot myself on 14.280, upper side band. Away it goes. You'll see next time I call CQ, I'm keeping a real eye on the SWR. CQ SOTA, Mike 0 Echo Foxtrot India Portable, calling CQ SOTA from Golf Mike Charlie Sierra 038 QRZ. And also the ALC, because I don't want to overdrive my audio. I'm still really playing with the settings on this radio. CQ SOTA, Mike 0 Echo Foxtrot India Portable, calling CQ SOTA from Golf Mike Charlie Sierra 038 QRZ. Echo Alpha 7 Golf Victor, you're 5x7 QSL. QSL on 5x2, thank you very much for the call this afternoon. 7-3, goodbye. This is Mike 0 Echo Foxtrot India Portable, calling CQ from Golf Mike Charlie Sierra 038 QRZ. So there we go, KX2, first time out. Got my contacts, managed to remember how to set the memories and the volume and the microphone gain, and that is it. What a machine. So I've proved to myself that 10 watts can do what normally I run 25 watts on, and the combined weight of the radio, the antenna the battery and everything else is less than my Yeso FT857, so I don't think that'll be seeing much more of the hills. Right, packing up time. There's more than one way to do this. You can telescope the mast back down, but I tend to end up with a jumble of guy ropes and antenna wires if I do that, so I tend to just do the reverse. I'll undo a guy or two, get the mast laying horizontally on the ground, and then just kind of work my way back from there, removing the antenna and then the guy ropes, and get it all packed up. So hopefully it'll only take me about 10 minutes. But the most important thing, the most precious item, is this. So that goes back in its little bag before we start any antenna shenanigans. Next most precious item is the log, which always goes back into this left hand pocket. I really don't want to lose that after all the trouble I've been through this afternoon to make these 5 contacts. There we go. So that's the antenna in the bag, radio in the bag, mic goes in the lid on this occasion. Always make sure I have 5 tent pegs going back in the bag. Along with the guy ropes and a wee bit of string. There's the battery. I really just wrap this in my sit mat for convenience. You swally. Make sure the lid's on right. I really don't want that getting onto my new radio. Right, that's us. Right, so that's the station in the bag, ready to go down the hill. So a little bit different this video, not so much of the route. Hopefully you've picked up some tips as to how I set my station up, hopefully quite efficiently, how I operate it, and although that was a bit of a struggle today, and then, you know, break it back down, making sure that everything's looked after along the way. Amazing day to try the new radio. Conditions on the bands weren't the best, but hey ho, I got there in the end. Right, here we are, back at the track. Just got to find the SOTA bike. And there he is over there. Oh, right where I left him.
Get rid of that. Put on this. Home time.